Yo, what's happening, y'all? This is a little Thursday Snaps, youtube.com/the volume. We're going to be doing a bit of a shorter show today, but this is now the normal Thursday shows are going to be the normal length over the next few weeks, but this is the beginning of a series that we'll be doing over the next month plus the next 5 weeks. And that is where we're going to go each conference by conference, and we're going to create a snaps ranking of all the coaches in said conference. And so guess what? We're going to start with the big boys, the SEC, the best conference in all of college football. We will give you the objective and unquestioned correct order that you should rank these SEC coaches. For full disclosure, me and Aaron have not talked about this. We're going to live craft this list here in front of you. I'm one of your hosts, T-Bob Hebert, here on Snaps, your favorite college football podcast, so you hope so. Aaron Murray is here every day with us as well, your other beautiful host. Aaron, what's up, man? How are we feeling on this Thursday?
I'm excited for this SEC list. I was waiting for you to kind of throw a curveball and give us like the ACC or the Pac-12 and start off with not as much of a bang. But yeah, let's go SEC coaches, top in the country. Excited for this one.
As always, youtube.com/volume, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video. Please, if you want to help grow the show, if you enjoy it, you can tell your friends about it, your family about it. Wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, subscribe, rate, review, everything that we beg you to do every day. We love you. Now, let's get into it. We are going to create again the ranking of the SEC's top 14 coaches. And, I was thinking, okay, do we start at 14? Do we start at 1? I'm going to say we start at 1 because I think the top 3 are clearly the easiest part of this entire equation. And Aaron, I will let you know what I think, and you let me know if you think I'm wrong. They are as follows. Number 1, Kirby Smart. Number 2, Nick Saban. Number 3, Brian Kelly. I just don't know. When we get into the other names, I just don't know that anybody else cracks that tier.
I'm just glad we didn't do like a 1A, 1B. I forgot what list we looked at of like top college coaches, not the SEC, but just overall. There's like a
Cowards.
1A, 1B of Kirby Smart and Nick Saban because, everyone's scared of Nick Saban. No one wants to piss him off. Sorry, Nick, you had your time.
Yeah.
You're the greatest of all time. But when it comes to coaches today in 2023, Kirby Smart is the man I want leading my football team. So, yes, I'm with you, T-Bob. Kirby 1, Nick 2. I think Brian Kelly's a close 3. I obviously it's the national championship. That's the big thing. It's the no natty. If Brian's able to get one in the next couple of years, he's going to elevate him. So I still consider, even without the national championship, I still consider Brian Kelly a top 5 coach in America. Like that's how good he is. He has never won a national championship. I still consider him top 5 in America. And I mean this one, the 1, 2. So, there's America. Kirby would be 1 in America. Saban would be 2. Kelly would be somewhere in that 4 or 5 range. It's pretty amazing, the top 3 coaches in this league.
Yeah. Look, not many coaches have won national championships, right? Edo's out of the picture. So you really only have Jimbo is still in there. Mac Brown's still in there, but nobody considers them near that level anymore. So it's really just Smart, Saban, and Swinney, right?
Swinney?
Yeah. I don't know why I said it so weird. Smart, Saban, and Swinney. The Triple S, the S boys. Brian Kelly's trying to break into the club.
And Jimbo.
Well, I said Jimbo, but Jimbo and Mac. I'm saying, but nobody considers Jimbo and Mac Brown their time's done. Their time's done. Sneaky good opportunity for Brian Kelly to join that crew this year. I think it's still too early in the process. I think it's almost impossible to win a natty. I think Georgia is light years ahead, but Ohio State, no quarterback. Michigan,
we know they're going to have. We know they're going to have.
I know. But that's why I said sneaky good, right? Not at all something you should expect, but Georgia replacing a quarterback and a coordinator, even though they're still going to be better than you probably. Alabama looks like they may be down. Just not a bad. And look, and make no mistake, Kim Mulkey just ratcheted up the pressure on all LSU coaches winning a national championship in year number 2. Now everybody else all of a sudden well, hey, come on, where we at? Okay, so Smart, Saban, Kelly. So far we're in line, Aaron. How about this? So that's tier 1. We get into tier 2 now. Here's how I have 4, 5, and 6. You tell me if I'm wrong. Heupel, Kiffin, and Freeze. Heupel, Kiffin, and Freeze as 4, 5, and 6.
Ooh.
Where are you at?
Heupel, Kiffin, and Freeze.
Now, look, 4, I know 6. Heupel has not earned this. I know he has not.
Heupel, I'm with you at Heupel at 4.
Okay,
so I'll let you give your reasoning, but I'm with you with Heupel at 4.
Well, I'm kind of betting on Heupel, right? I'm betting on Heupel to make me right. I don't love what he did at UCF in terms of they got worse every year. I love his trajectory through 2 years at Tennessee. He brought a giant back to life, and he did it purely with scheme. Like he did it earned off of him and his scheme and his system. So I could get burned for this, but I'm going, okay, so you're in agree. Okay, so why do you like Heupel at 4?
The same. I mean, it was an awful program what he took over. It was toxic. It was guys were extremely dejected. I mean, they were treated not the way a football player should be treated. I mean, the previous regime was horrendous. He took that and turned it into a winner that fast. I believe in him. I believe in Tennessee, honestly, with the resources they have, with the style of ball that he plays. They needed someone to believe in, and now they have that, and they're going to get the players. They're going to have, like I said, the NIL opportunities. I think this is just the beginning of Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to be a team we see more often than not in the playoffs when they do expand it to 12 teams in a year. So I'm with you. I think Heupel is a beast, and I got him at number 4 too. I got Kiffin at 5 as well.
Oh,
so we're on the same page. Yeah. You know me. I love Lane Kiffin. I love his offense. Wish he would have taken a different job to kind of, put him in a level where he could maybe compete for championships. But listen, he loves Ole Miss. I think they're going to have a good offense again this year. I like him at 5. My 6 is different. I got Shane Beamer at 6.
I'm at 7 for whatever that's worth. Okay. I got him at 7.
Okay.
So I'm down to switch those two.
I just don't want to put Hugh in there until, I mean, he's been gone for a while. I want to see what he looks like first. I think he's a great coach. And I think that there are some issues at Auburn that need to get worked out. And there's a lot of pressures as well that go with being the head coach at Auburn. How does he handle that? Can they get winning football games? Can they get competitive in the SEC West? I just need to see it first before I really start drinking that Kool-Aid, where I know Shane Beamer these past 2 years has been absolutely incredible. And amazing personality, great recruiter. They've been recruiting extremely well. They get better throughout the season. And he's just his personality is infectious. I just love him as a human being. So that he's the type of coach you want nowadays. You want that Ted Lasso type coach, the guy that gets along with everyone, that can recruit, that can motivate. He is A1 in that category. So that's why I got him at 6 ahead of Hugh.
Okay, so I like Kiffin at 5 because I'm looking for a big bounce back here from Kiffin, right? Yeah. He won 10 games, regular season games at Ole Miss, which had never been done before. So that's always, if you do something that's never been done before at your school, you're going to get big bonus points in a list like this. And he was dominant at FAU. So we've seen Kiffin have success on a smaller level. The only reason I had Freeze above Beamer is because the potential of Auburn is so much higher than that of South Carolina, which I guess is not technically what this list is. So I'm down to put Beamer at 6 because I think Beamer is, look, again, we talk about trajectory. He went 7-6 in a year in which they literally didn't have a quarterback. And then in year number 2, he goes 8-5 and finishes in the top 25. He's the first South Carolina coach to win back-to-back games against top 10 teams. First FBS coach in 78 to win twice as 20-point underdogs. So it's about, we're going to see some coaches lower on this list that are wasting talent. Shane Beamer is maximizing it. Okay, so now we have Kiffin 5, Beamer 6. Do you put Freeze 7?
No. So let me give you my next 3. So this started at 7. I got Mark Stoops at 7. Once again, this isn't a, potential, even though I kind of talk about Tennessee and there's a lot of potential there, but I also think it's also part to do with Heupel being an incredible coach and more to do with how he's rebuilt that program is why I have him at 4, along with the potential being the second part of it, not the first part of it. So so my 7 is Mark Stoops. Hate him, love him, whatever you want, Mr. Get to 8 wins kind of guy. Who cares? You're at Kentucky, and I think that is extremely impressive. Kentucky, I know Kentucky. You have to admit what he's done there is pretty remarkable.
I just
It's really good.
I don't
It's
know if I
really
think it's
good.
as impressive as everybody else does.
I do. It is. I remember when I was at Kentucky, and he was there, but I mean, how he's turned it around and got it going. They were so bad.
Yeah, no, look, I just don't know if I'm there in Kentucky. I mean, sure, okay, so you mentioned what he's built there, but like I don't know, dude. When I was in college, they had who's the quarterback? Andre Woodson. They were pretty damn good. They beat the '07 LSU. We were on the Natty. Like well, and here's the other thing: Kentucky has economic buy-in now. Like
Oh
Mark
yeah,
Stoops is paid. They pay for the program. At what point are they
because
actually
he's
going to
won.
take the next step? Like, how is South
Yeah.
Carolina already caught up to Kentucky? How has South Carolina's been worse than Kentucky? South Carolina's been maybe the worst SEC program in history in terms of their school history. How is Tennessee just
But that's why we have.
rocketed by
That's
Kentucky?
why you have those two coaches ahead of Mark Stoops. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
but
so.
okay, that's a fair point. But I feel like it's just a bad look at Stoops. And then he had the team. He had Will Levis, Rodriguez, everybody back who was supposed to be their year, and they just did what they do every single year.
So who do you have at 7? Do you want to put Hugh at 7 and then him at
I
8?
think you tell me this: would Hugh Freeze be able to do what Mark Stoops has done at Kentucky? I think Hugh Freeze would do better than Mark
Yeah,
Stoops.
he would. He
Hugh
would.
Freeze brings
I don't know if he would have
in
done
the
better. I
game.
don't think he would have done better.
Oh, you're
I
crazy.
think Mark Stoops maxed out Kentucky. I
Hugh
think he
Freeze
got
did
to
it
the
at
point
Ole
of
Miss, and it is just as hard to do at Ole Miss in the Common Era than it is Kentucky.
did they win SEC championships at Ole Miss?
No, dude, they got so. Remember, they were gonna go that year, and then there's like the crazy. They've never been to Atlanta, and they had the West one, but it was like 4th and 10 or something, and Arkansas is like pitching it all over the field. Might even be like 4th and 20, and they somehow get the conversion. Ole Miss loses, doesn't go to Atlanta.
What's the same? I mean, they essentially get to the same spot at similar schools. And I
No,
would say there's always been more buy-in at Ole Miss with football than there is football at Kentucky because
I
of the Kentucky basketball. So
again,
very
search your
similar.
heart. Search your heart. Would Hugh Freeze have had the success that Mark Stoops has had? I
He
think
would, but he
absolutely.
would not have done better. Once again, Mark Stoops hit the ceiling of what Kentucky football is going to be.
I
There's no
disagree.
going past it.
I
No,
disagree. They have buy-in. They got cool uniforms. They got great facilities. Like,
uh,
why can't they be better?
they don't have. They do not. It is still a basketball school. It is still a basketball school, and that's how they're looked at.
Well,
That
that's
is how
it.
they're
Yeah.
looked
Well,
at.
not according to Kentucky sports media. John
Mm.
Calipari says they're a basketball school, and everybody gets all fucking up in arms. Like, what are we
Well,
talking about here? You are a
the gap
basketball
is
school.
closed, but this is not. I mean, the resources are not put into. If you had $100, if you had $100 and you run an NIL for Kentucky, and you want to break that $100 up, $60 are going to the basketball team. Or if you're at Alabama, Georgia, LSU, $80 is going to the football team.
Yeah, that's fair.
That just tells you there's a way more buy-in at those other schools.
Okay. Here's what I'll say why Freeze should be over Stoops. I think Freeze does it with scheme as well, like a Heupel, which is going to get you higher on this list. Mark Stoops does not have the ability to develop it. Like, I don't know what Mark Stoops actually does. Like, he brings, I guess, like a CEO type of solid leadership to the table, which is there's value there. I mean, that's how Brian Kelly has made his way.
Yes.
I think Hugh Freeze
Fine,
is a
fine.
perfect marriage with Auburn, meaning that's going to work out great. I think Hugh Freeze has an incredible belief in himself. He has a really good running resume. And again, I just remain unconvinced that Hugh Freeze wouldn't have even had more. Oh, and now Hugh Freeze can recruit with money. How about that? Right? He already was, and now he can do it legally. So no, I'm sorry, Aaron. I can't stand by Stoops being over Freeze on this list. Can't do it.
Fine. So we'll put Hugh at 7.
Yep.
We'll put Stoops at 8.
Yep. I'm fine with that.
And then I got 9, Sam Pittman.
I got him at 10.
Who did you get before it?
I got Jimbo.
Oh,
I know. I know.
say you want to talk about doing less, more with less.
I know.
You want to talk a guy who's done less with more versus a guy who's done more with less. A team that couldn't win the SEC that has just been. I mean, I know it wasn't the best of years last year, but still, they went bowling. They won a great bowl game. They weren't winning SEC games 3 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's completely got them going. You talk about a coach that couldn't even go bowling last year with more 5 stars than the 90% of the SEC.
No, you're right. You're right. My bad. I got blinded by recruiting, honestly. And I
Yeah.
was thinking like, recruiting's like a huge part of coaching. And
Cool.
so you have to give your, no, but you're right. You're right. I mean, I'm just looking
Wow.
again. I mean, Jimbo's record in 18, at A&M first year, they go 9-4, 8-5. They had the great 9-1 pandemic year, but then 8-4, 5. You're right. My bad. I dropped the ball there. Sam Pittman,
Cool.
you're right, is doing so much more with so much less, whereas Jimbo's the complete inverse. So I'm down with Pittman at 9. Okay, hell yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll let you give your next 10 through 12.
Well, shit. Okay, I think now I will put Jimbo here, and only because I I think there's still an outside chance A&M has a sneaky good year this season. I think they need to win more than 8 games. We had a conversation on AMP yesterday where you said that like 8 games would be acceptable for A&M. I think that's insanity. I think their expectations must be higher. And I will not grant him a good year if they only win 8 games. But they did have that 9-1 year just in 2020. They put together the great recruiting classes. Like, okay, like for instance, I have Clark Lee at 11. I want to put Clark Lee over Jimbo, but I can't put him there just yet. Or Napier, Drinkwitz, Arnett. I can't. So yeah, Jimbo's 10. Jimbo's 10 to me.
I'm fine with Jimbo at 10. I got Jimbo 10. I got Eli at 11 though, and then Clark Lee at 12.
I have no passion for Drinkwitz, so I'm like fine with that. I don't understand how to judge Eli Drinkwitz. I mean, they could have had such an incredible year last year. Don't absolutely shit the bed against Auburn and finish the fight against Georgia, and all of a sudden, like everybody's singing your praises. So maybe you're right. Maybe I need to give him more credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what Clark Lee has done at Vanderbilt in 2 years is pretty good. I mean, they're one game away from going bowling. They got a pretty cupcake schedule this year to start the season off. I think they're gonna have a chance to get to that 6 win, to be able to get to a bowl game. But I would like to see that first before I really put him ahead. So I'll put Eli. Eli needs a big year though. There's no doubt about it. Eli's kind of to me getting closer to that hot seat, even with that
Yeah.
extension last year. But I would still take Eli over Clark Lee. So so Jimbo at 10,
Eli Drinkwitz
Eli
at 11. I'm cool with that.
and Clark Lee at 12.
So I would have put Napier over Lee at 12. I was going to because Napier was so great at UL, but Vanderbilt just beat the fuck out of Florida.
Yeah.
And because of that, I just can't bring myself to do it. And it's crazy because I still think Billy Napier's a really good coach. Again, UL is not an easy place to win. And I'm talking about Lafayette here in Louisiana. And he had them winning at a very high clip, challenging for Sun Belt championships every year, like 10-1, 10-2 years. I'll look up his exact records right now, but my God. And I know it's only year 1 at Florida, but the wild part is this, and it, okay, so I was about to say the sentence just now. It's hard to fathom a worse year 1 at Florida. Which makes that sentence even worse is they beat Utah. They beat the Pac-12 champion and had an awful year.
They beat Utah. They beat Missouri, who have Eli ahead of them. They beat A&M pretty bad. And then they beat South Carolina 38-6.
What?
It's a weird year for them, man. It was a weird season. They played LSU pretty good. The Tennessee game was close. The Kentucky game was close. I thought the Kentucky game, Anthony Richardson completely blew that game. They were better than Kentucky. They were better than Kentucky. Anthony Richardson
Mark
just
blew
that game away. So like that's weird. Like they're another team where it was a very odd season based on the wins and who they lost to. It's like, how do you win those games and beat the shit out of South Carolina, but then turn around and lose to Vanderbilt? Like,
I don't know.
So like Napier, man, like you're kind of teetering here. So I mean, just build a little consistency. We'll see. But I don't know.
And the problem is, Aaron, the bowl game was an embarrassment.
Well, they didn't have a roster.
I get that. But a great coach should still be able to get some sort of buy-in, right? Like I hate to just use an LSU reference, but whatever, I'll just do it. Like the Kansas State against Kansas State, LSU was playing a wide receiver at quarterback 2 years ago, and that team played harder and put up more of a fight than did this year's Florida. I just don't think that I don't care that you lose to Oregon State. It's how completely checked out the entire team looked. Like, you should be able to get some sort of hunger, some sort of buy-in out of your backups, and he just failed to do that. So, but again, I Napier, I'm so open to him rising on this list. He was 7-7 year one at UL. Then he goes 11-3, 10-1, 12-1, had them ranked in the top 35 at the end of the season, 2 years in a row. Like, Napier should end up being good, but just an awful year one. And then, so we're on the same page. Zach Arnett at 14, just because we don't know anything about him.
We don't know anything about him. Yeah, Zach Arnett at 14. Best of luck. Interesting what this team looks like on both sides of the football, or at least the offensive side. We know what they're going to look on defense. But yeah, I mean, you can't move a guy that's never been a head coach anywhere higher until you kind of know what he looks like.
Well, I don't know. You know, he's like kind of a good looking dude. He's pretty generic looking, just like late
What do you go
30s
from
white
he's a
guy.
good looking dude to he's a generic looking dude?
Yeah, no, I know. I was trying to make a joke about like what he literally looked like, and then I realized I have no actual idea what Zach Arnett looks like, and so I had no way of like which is why he's last in the list. I had no way of correctly like finishing the joke just because I didn't know. Oh, I don't know. I just look at pictures of Zach Arnett, Aaron, and very much looks like a generic late 30s white guy. I don't know if I grant him the rank of good looking. Who's their OC again? Kevin Barbay. Why was I into him a couple weeks ago when we were talking about him? Oh, he has all of those like crazy analytical stats where he's put together like very, very successful offenses at Central Michigan and App State and whatnot. All right, we'll wait and see what he can do with old Will Rogers. So there it is, your SEC Snaps official coaches ranking at 14. We got Zach Arnett, Billy Napier at 13, Clark Lee at 12, Eli Drinkwitz at 11, Jimbo Fisher 10, Sam Pittman 9, Mark Poops at 8, Hugh Freeze at 7, Shane Beamer 6, Lane Kiffin 5, Josh Heupel 4, Brian Kelly 3, Nick Saban 2, and Kirby Smart at number 1. That's it. We love you. We hope that you have an excellent weekend. Okay. Remember, like, subscribe, all the things we always talk about. Aaron, have a great day, my friend. And we will see you Monday on a brand new episode of Snaps.